Imagine walking into a store and seeing two white t-shirts neatly folded on a table. They're made from the exact same cotton, stitched in the exact same factory, and serve exactly the same purpose. One has a plain generic tag and costs $10. The other has a small red rectangular logo on the chest and costs $500. By every basic principle of economics you learned in school, a rational person should choose the $10 shirt and consider the $500 one absurd. The law of demand teaches that as price increases, demand should decrease. It's a cornerstone of how markets are supposed to work. We're meant to seek value and efficiency. Yet in reality, that's not what happens. The $500 shirt sells out immediately. People line up overnight on the sidewalk for the chance to pay rent-level money for it. If the brand dropped the price to $20, interest would vanish. The demand exists precisely because the price is so unreasonably high. This is a flaw in human decision-making that keeps millions of people financially stuck. It's known as the Veblen paradox. My name is Alex, and I spend a considerable amount of time examining why we make money choices that undermine our long-term security. If you've ever felt that inexplicable urge to buy something you can't really afford just to show that you can, then stay with me. Hit subscribe and give this video a like, because today we're going to unpack the psychology of status, why we're wired to signal wealth we don't yet have, how luxury brands exploit our insecurities, and why the path to genuine wealth often means refusing to look wealthy. To understand this, we need to go back to 1899 and meet Thorstein Veblen, an unconventional economist who observed the Gilded Age excess of Vanderbilts and Rockefellers and concluded that traditional economic models were incomplete. Standard theory assumed people buy things for utility, a coat for warmth, a car for transportation. But Veblen noticed people purchasing impractical silver spoons, too heavy to use, and corsets that restricted breathing. Utility wasn't the goal, deliberate waste was. He coined the term conspicuous consumption. In a society with clear class divisions, the fastest way to display high status is to visibly squander resources. A watch that tells time no better than a $10 Casio but costs as much as a car sends a clear message: I have so much surplus that I can afford to burn money and still thrive. This leads to the heart of the Veblen paradox. For certain goods, the high price is the primary feature. In ordinary markets, price is a barrier to entry. In Veblen goods, the price is the product. If Rolex slashed prices to reflect material costs, say $200, they wouldn't sell more watches. The brand would collapse. The moment a Rolex becomes attainable for middle managers, it loses its signaling power for executives. The value lies not in craftsmanship, but in exclusivity. This creates an inverted demand curve. Raising the price increases desire because it strengthens the barrier, making the item more exclusive and the status signal more potent. It's a self-reinforcing loop that drives prices far beyond any rational connection to utility. The real tragedy is how this traps the middle class in an unwinnable game. True wealth, Veblen's leisure class, purchases these items with excess capital that doesn't affect their ability to grow money. A billionaire's $300,000 car is negligible, but when middle-income earners imitate that behavior to appear successful, a pattern Veblen called pecuniary emulation, they finance appearances at the expense of actual wealth building. They trade compounding investments for depreciating liabilities just to signal to strangers that they're doing fine. This impulse is rooted in evolutionary biology. As social primates, status once determined survival. A peacock's extravagant tail hinders flight and attracts predators, yet it signals superior genetic fitness. I'm so strong I can survive this handicap. Conspicuous consumption is our version, buying oversized homes with unused pools or high-maintenance cars to broadcast fitness to the tribe. Today, marketers expertly exploit this instinct. They manufacture scarcity. Think Hermes Birkin bags that require years of spending on other products before you're even allowed to buy one, triggering deep status anxiety. The goalposts keep moving. As soon as the middle class stretches to afford an entry-level luxury item, The elite shift to something rarer. Yesterday's loud logos become basic. Today's elite favor quiet luxury. No visible branding, just understated expense. The cycle continues, and the middle class chases, exhausting resources on a treadmill they can't win. The irony is stark. By mimicking the rich, we adopt the exact habits, overspending and underinvesting, that prevent us from ever joining them. So how do we escape? Opt out of the status game entirely. Recognize that in the modern world, real power lies in freedom, not possessions. The person driving a paid-off 10-year-old car with a 7-figure portfolio and the ability to walk away from any job has far greater status than the one in a leased luxury SUV who's one emergency away from financial ruin. Adopt stealth wealth. The truly wealthy often blend in. You'd pass them in a store without noticing. Wealth is what you don't see. The cars not bought, the upgrades declined, the money quietly compounding. When the urge hits to buy a Veblen good, something expensive primarily because it's expensive, pause and ask, am I buying this for its function or for the signal? If no one else knew I owned it, would I still want it? Veblen showed we're wired to chase shiny status symbols, but we also have the capacity to override that wiring. We can choose compounding over consumption, freedom over appearances. The strongest signal you can send isn't a logo on your sleeve. It's the calm confidence that comes from true financial security. If this shifted your perspective on your next purchase, drop a like. Subscribe for more insights on outsmarting the system, ignoring the status trap, and building real, invisible wealth. See you in the next one.